Hi everyone, you are at the right place at the right time. You are listening to Hannah Bianca Gant. And if you have not subscribed to my new YouTube channel, please do so, because this is where you're going to get the best HR advice for your career and for your business. So again, my name is Hannah Gant. I am the Chief Human Resources Officer at Career Image Solutions, where we provide services for career professionals. We provide trainings for organizations, and also we do all things HR for businesses that don't have HR departments. So today, this topic is for those of you that might be watching that are career professionals, even those of you that might be in business. And I have come across quite a few of these individuals within the past week. What am I talking about? Individuals that say that they feel stuck in their careers, right? Stuck. They're like, I just don't, there's nothing wrong with my job. I love the people that I work with, but I'm just feeling stuck. So if that's you, this video is for you. Make sure you like it. Make sure you share it with people. And I've been in that position, right? I remember years ago, I was at a job and I loved it. I loved working there. The people were great, but I just felt stuck. I was crying on my way to work. So I just want to encourage you all, not encourage you all because you're crying going to work, but I wanted to encourage you that, you're not by yourself. You are not the only person that has ever felt stuck at their job. And don't feel weird if you feel stuck and like nothing is going wrong, right? Sometimes you feel stuck because there's just something more for you to do internally. So because of that, you feel stuck. But sometimes it is management, might be coworkers, things of that nature. But what I found is that my annoyance with people was really the annoyance that was within myself. So I had to dig a little deeper and figure out like, what is the real issue here? What's the root issue? And once I discovered that, I stopped being mad at other people, because I was giving some people some attitude for no reason. At least I thought it was. I thought it was for a reason. But anyway, today I want to encourage you on ways how to get unstuck in your career. All right. So it's just 3 tips today. Three tips. So first tip is to identify the pattern. Identify the pattern. What do I mean by this? Sometimes for you to really figure out why for you to get unstuck, one of the best ways for you to get unstuck is to identify why you are stuck in the first place. And you might be like, I don't really know why, or some of you might know why, but for those of you that don't know why, you have to identify the pattern. One of the best ways that you could do this, and I do this in my career strategy sessions, is to ask yourself a few questions. One of the questions is, how did I get my last job? And you're like, why in the world does this matter? How did you get your last job? And I want you to write the answers to these questions down. How did you get your last job? Then I want you to ask yourself, how did you get the jobs before that? So how did you get there, right? You'll start noticing a pattern. If there is a pattern of, hey, you're getting you applied for a position, or someone just came and said, hey, we have a job available. Do you want to work here? Because there are some people that proactively go after what they want. And then there are some people that just take what they're given. So answering that question really does identify what type of person you are or have been, right? So just because you were one way in one stage of your life doesn't mean you were the same way in the other stage in your life. So again, asking yourself or answering these questions will really allow you to identify if there is a pattern. The pattern might not even exist with that, but if there is one and you're writing out the answers to these questions, you are definitely going to see if there is a pattern. Second question is, why did I leave? Why did I leave? As an HR professional, when I'm hiring, either on behalf of my company or on behalf of other companies, I like asking that question. You can tell a whole lot about that question. Why did you leave your last job? So ask yourself, why did I leave? Like, and you can be honest with yourself, right? You don't have to give the Google answer, because this isn't a real interview. But if you start asking yourself, why did I leave the last job? Why did I leave the job before that? What about the 3 jobs before that? What were my reasons for leaving? Were they all because someone got on my nerves, because of management? Was it all because another job paid me more? you'll start again identifying what the patterns are. But ask yourself, why did you leave? Okay. Another question to identify the pattern is, what did I like the most? So again, ask yourself that same question about your last job and the previous jobs as well. So what did you like the most? You'll start figuring out like, hey, wait a minute. I really liked when I was when I was working on the accounting work in the accounting project. Or I really liked it when I was doing outreach, or I really liked it when I got to lead meetings and you'll start again identifying patterns. Another question: what made me stay? What made me stay? And I'm telling you, answering that question is just like a you'll really start to identify some patterns there. What made you stay? Did you stay because it was a sweet commute? Did you stay because the people were great? Did you stay because you couldn't find another job? Again, ask yourself that question for maybe your last 3 to 4 jobs that you've had. And then lastly, I have a series of other questions that I typically ask in my career strategy sessions. But just for the purpose of this video, one of the last questions that you can ask to identify the pattern is, what were my biggest complaints? What did you complain about the most, right? I know for me, I didn't really have a lot of complaints about my jobs, believe. I'm not just saying that either, but I really didn't. But when I started to complain, because that's just like not my natural tendency. My natural tendency isn't to complain. So when I started to complain, I knew that something was wrong. I'm like, oh, hold up, what's happening? So when you start identifying what your biggest complaints were, if you start to notice that you had complaints about every single job that you've had over your last 5 jobs, like, you'll start to identify what the pattern is. So hopefully by you writing down and talking out these responses with yourself to these questions, again, I'll go back. How did I get my last job? Why did I leave? What did I like the most? What made me stay? And what were my biggest complaints, right? So hopefully by you answering some of those questions, you'll begin to identify if some patterns exist. And then you'll begin to identify the reasons for you feeling stuck, right? So one of the biggest things, and again, I'm no counselor, I'm no psychologist, but I do know in my life, at least, and my clients, one of the biggest ways that I help them, or one of the biggest ways I'm able to help them kind of get unstuck, is by identifying the truth, which is what got you stuck in the first place. What else is happening, right? It might not even be the job. It could be what's happening at home. Is it your marriage? Is it the kids? Is it where you live? Is it your family? Right? So just again, answering those questions, you would be surprised what comes out of it. Right? Second thing that you can do to get unstuck in your career is to take a break. Take a break. So many times we take vacations, and when we take vacations, nothing wrong with vacations, but we take vacations and we just go and, we go and, oh, I just want to lay in the beach. I just want to go and have fun. You go and you do. You do this, you go visit this museum, and you just don't get any time to digest what you're vacationing from, right? Because you have not built a life that you can rest and actually take some account as to what has been working, what has not been working, right? I know that when I do that, I just feel so much more refreshed when I can actually take a break and figure out, okay, what worked, what did not work. So I'm encouraging you to take a break. And you might be like, I don't have time to take a break. I don't even have leave at my job. How in the world do I take a break? I'm encouraging you to take a break. I don't know how you're going to do it, but I just encourage you to take a break, even if it's on the weekends. If you work Monday through Friday, schedule out, hey, this Saturday, I'm taking the whole day from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and I'm just going to go and sit by the water. I'm going to sit in my car. Listen, if you want to get something done, you make it happen, right? But take a break. So you're like, well, what do I do in this break, right? What do I do with this break? Honestly, if you can sneak away for a weekend to do nothing, and when I say nothing, I mean like by yourself. like with no one else, right? And I'm not saying you have to go out of state. You can go around the corner to a hotel, a motel, something, right? Just take a break, change the scene, change your environment. And what do? I would recommend, I'm a big journal writer. And even if you're not a journal writer, there is something magnificent that happens when you write things down. There's a great book that I love called the Bible, and there is a scripture that talks about writing the vision, making it plain, right? And you'll be surprised that as you start to write, the ideas that come to you, the things that start to come to you when you just take a break, recenter, and refocus. So that's the first thing I would do while taking a break, is to journal. Second thing I would do, sorry, my camera just shifted on me. Second thing I would do is to pray during that time, and to really recenter again, refocus. And one of the things I like to encourage people within prayer is that prayer is not just a conversation to God, but also utilize prayer as your conversation with God. So make it a two-way conversation, not just like, oh God, da 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 da. Like actually sit still to see what God is saying to you. And then also use that time to fast, right? I know you can fast while working and doing other things, but during your break time, during the time that you have away, consider fasting. I don't, I still am not an expert about fasting, but what I will say is that, again, some magnificent, miraculous things start to happen. You start getting a lot more clarity about matters when you fast. I can't explain it. I'm not the inventor of fasting. I don't really get that excited about fasting, but I know that it's absolutely paramount to me going into next levels, new dimensions in my life. So again, tip number 2 is take a break. You take a break by journaling, praying, and fasting. And then last but not least, I would say get some accountability. Get some accountability. If you're feeling stuck in your career, you want to get some accountability, either your good girlfriend, your good guy friend, or even use a career strategist. For me, I have found that, believe it, I mean, this might sound weird, but paying for accountability holds you more accountable than relying on relationships that you've already had your whole life. Right. So again, that I just noticed a shift in my life when I started paying for coaching. It's not that they were telling me anything that I did not know, but there was something about me making a commitment, me actually putting what I valued, my money down, and saying, hey, I'm going to do this. And someone holding me accountable to it. That wasn't my girlfriend, who I could be like, oh, I'm not going to do it today. And she's like, okay, girl, no problem. This person, this was like what they did. And there was just a big difference when I did that. So get some accountability. Let them know that you're feeling stuck in your career. Let them know to hold you accountable. Say, hey, hold me accountable. If I start complaining about my job this week, I need you to tell me, listen, to stop. Or, hey, I haven't taken a break like the Henny told me on the video. Can you hold me accountable in doing that, right? And if you get a career strategist, of course, shameless plug, Career Image Solutions would love to be your career strategist. But one of the things that we do is that we set weekly appointments. And in those weekly appointments, we have different assignments like career assessments. So we literally start to kind of dig deep and explore the root issues of why you are feeling stuck in your career, and figure out like, hey, do we need to pursue a career change? And maybe you need to do something different. What was that thing that you wanted to do when you were a little girl? What was that thing that you wanted to do when you graduated from college that you no longer did because you took the first job that came at you? What was that thing that you wanted to do? What was that job that you had that was just like the best job? It didn't even pay you much, but it was just the best job ever. Like, what was that thing? How do you move from that place to the new place? How do you go from stuck to getting unstuck? And that is what we do in our career strategy section. So again, let me recap how to get unstuck in your career. Number 1, identify the pattern. And I gave you all some questions that you should ask yourself. You ask yourself, how did I get my last job? Why did I leave? What did I like most? what made me stay and what were my biggest complaints. And again, I'm encouraging you to write out the responses. You will be absolutely shocked to see if there is a pattern. I guarantee you'll start to identify the pattern right away. Number two, tip number two is to take a break away from your life. Take a break away from your current career, even if it's just for 4 hours, 6 hours. I recommend 2 days at least, whether it's during a weekend. Just make it work. And during that time that you have a break, I want you to journal. I want you to fast, and I want you to pray. So that way, I mean, because honestly, our ideas are good, but there's nothing like a God idea. So why not go to the master about what we want to do with our lives, given that he's the giver of our lives, right? Just saying. Then the third tip is to get some accountability, whether it's a friend that you can trust, whether it's a colleague, or whether you want to use a career strategist like the ones at Career Image Solutions. So whatever it is that you decide to do, make sure that you do it and you stick to it. Please leave your comments. Let me know if these tips were helpful for you. Let me know if you have any questions about any of these tips. Again, these are just 3 tips, but there's a whole lot more I can give. So if you are interested in learning more information about what we do at Career Image Solutions, you can subscribe to our newsletter at bit.ly, that's bit.ly/CIS career, and that's all caps. Again, so that's bit.ly/CIS career. CIS for Career Image Solutions. So CISCAREER, all caps. So subscribe to our newsletter. You can also email us directly at services@career-image.com, or you can check us out on the web, www.career-image.com. So until next time, everyone, do not forget to command your day. Have a great one and talk to you in the next video.